There is a quote that I will tell you. It keeps coming back to me. I will admit it stopped me the first time I read it. I was always chasing the next thing, more possessions, more achievements. But here was a reminder that in the end none of that lasts. I began to reflect on what endures after I am gone. We live in a world that pulls us in so many directions. You get caught up in the everyday grind, trying to make ends meet, striving for success, or just keeping things afloat. I've certainly been there, navigating the day-to-day responsibilities, while the bigger picture, the idea of legacy, sometimes faded into the background. It hit me one evening when I was watching my kid playing, not a care in the world. I thought, what will matter to them when they are older? Will they remember what I had or what I did, who I was to them? That realization shook something loose inside me. The things I own, the money I make, even my accomplishment, none of this will matter as much as how I lived and what kind of example I set. And let me tell you, that is not always an easy truth to swallow. I think we all want to be remembered for something, even if we don't talk about it. There is this quiet fear of being forgotten, or worse, of being remembered for the wrong reasons. But legacy isn't built overnight. It's in the small choices we make every day, how we treat the people around us, and how we handle setbacks, and how we live in line with our values. For me, the most profound shift came when I started focusing on less on what I was doing for myself and more on what I was doing for others, especially my family. I realized that it's not the possessions I leave behind that will define me, but the values I pass on. And that's what the quote is saying. Your actions, your reputations, how you are remembered, it outlives everything else. But I'll be honest, it's not easy. There are days when it feels like nothing I do matters. There are moments when I catch myself chasing the next material thing, because it's easier than reflecting on the harder questions. Still, every time I feel lost, I come back to that idea. The reputation of each person never dies. It's a reminder that everything I do today, even the small, unnoticed things, will shape the legacy I leave behind. It's a responsibility, yes, but also a chance to live more purposefully. So now, when I'm faced with choices, I ask myself, is this in line with who I want to be remembered as? And that simple question has changed how I approach everything. Work, relationships, even my sense of self. It's a never-ending process, and I'm not aiming to have it all figured out. But I know this, at the end of the day, what endures isn't what I had, but who I was. And that gives me a sense of peace, knowing that the best of me can live on long after I'm gone. The quote is from an Old Norse text called Havamal, and it says, "Cattle die, kinsmen die, you must also die, but I know one thing that never dies, the reputation of the one who has passed."